those, anchors and affirmations and, what that scene kind of looked like in the hospital and at home, still kind of really become very lifelike. So I feel like I did have my dream birth. I wouldn't change anything for my birth now, and knowing what I know. So I feel like I had a very successful, gentle birth, and I feel like me visualizing that really helped.
And just to go a step further, and this is written in our hypnobirthing books. It's in the chapter relaxation routine, and it says most athletes will readily advise that relaxation and visualization are crucial to successful performance. Golfers quickly learn not to press, but to release and let go. It is not uncommon to see Olympic athletes standing off to the side, running visualizations of their perfect performance through their minds. Sports greats know that stress and tension in the mind equate to stress and tension in the body. The two cannot be separated. Conquering stress and fear is what allows sports figures to appear to perform so effortlessly. It's impressive. We're applying the same stuff here, guys. There are 6 basic techniques that we use in hypnobirthing. And one is education. We're educating you guys on really what it looks like and what it feels like to have a calm, peaceful birth. We talk about breathing, we know the different breathing techniques that we want to use to guide us through our labor, to keep in that rest and digest, to keep our uterus functioning at an optimal rate. We talk about the deepening techniques that we're going to go through. Probably in the next class, we do more of the deepening techniques, relaxation techniques. You guys already started doing this stuff, by listening to the rainbow relaxation and listening to your affirmations. Maybe you've printed your affirmations like Caitlin, and putting them up around the house, starting to put that visual. Every time you look at one of those positive affirmations, it's going to put a picture in your mind. The visualizations that go hand in hand there. So every time you kind of are guided in with the rainbow, every time you visualize your perfect birth, you're playing that script in your mind. By the time you go into labor, it's like you've already been in the end zone. Your body knows exactly what to do, what music to put on, what part of your room you want to labor in. Like, you practice all this stuff regularly, so you know how to get yourself into that relaxed state. And the affirmations, like I already talked about. So it is really important. I know, Raina, you put them up around your mirror, which I love. I don't know if you guys saw my picture. That was me when I was preparing for my hypnobirth, with all my affirmations around me. I put them up all over. My husband thought I was a nut job, but hey, I had my birth that I wanted. And, and it really, every time I had those limiting thoughts, I was able to circle back very quickly. Because it's hard, sometimes we go down that spiral, or we go into the Google hole. Like we go into like Google, like trying to research one thing, and all of a sudden we're like, negative train, right? I mean, it's the Google hole, I call it. So making sure we stay on the positive train by surrounding ourselves with all this positive stuff. So setting up your routine is going to be really important. We don't want to wait until we're in labor to be like, oh, I wonder what kind of music I want to listen to while I'm in labor, right? We want to think about this stuff now. I know if you guys were here with us at the wellness center, every time you walked into the wellness center, you would see the lights set up. You would see, or you would be hearing the nice calm music. Usually it's Liquid Mind is my go-to. It's a really great, they have so many different tracks. You would see some twinkly lights around. We would put affirmations up. We set that scene up every single time so that you start to think about how you want to set up your scene at home. Like some of the affirmations, that worked for me or Amanda, that ones that we have up, maybe you have to search a little bit deeper to see which ones kind of work to you and speak to you. So this is all stuff you need to be doing now to start kind of like setting up your nest, we like to call it in hypnobirthing. Like, what does your nest look like? What is your perfect, cozy, little comfy? Like, maybe you want pictures of the ocean next to your bed. Maybe there's some a picture of you and your pet. And when you look at that, you're like, oh my God, I just love cuddling with my pet. Here's my favorite picture of me and my kitty. At Amanda's birth, Frisco was there, in spirit. and these are all things we want to surround ourselves with. We don't want to wait till we're in labor to be like, gee, I wish I had thought about that. So this is stuff now. Think about it now and start little by little. Next week, I'm going to have one of our essential oils experts come on and she's going to talk about a class that she's going to do through Zoom, I think. She's going to talk about what she's going to do and essential oils, why some essential oils are more grounding and why some are more uplifting, why some are more calming, while some give us more energy, ones that were really great during pregnancy, but might not be so great, when we are breastfeeding or new moms. So this is a really great opportunity to learn, because essential oils during labor are really awesome. Our sense of smell, what we're smelling in the air, is going to ground us. If someone's eating something that you're like, ugh, that's making me not so happy, that's going to set you off a little bit. Same thing with our sense of sound. If someone's having a conversation that's just not so positive and it's in your atmosphere, it might not make you so happy and feel so grounded and calm. So the soothing music will help you, right? We'll kind of block that out and go to that soothing music. What else? So on page 139 is kind of just some different ways to establish a routine. When planning your relaxation, select time when you won't be disrupted. And that's kind of hard for my friend Caitlin, who has 2 other, children who, putting them to bed. So Caitlin's probably going to choose after the kids are in bed, and maybe Key, who I see right here, is going to put the kids to bed for Caitlin so she can do her routine. So definitely, thinking about, okay, I have a little bit more energy during this time, so maybe I'll do some different postures and stuff that are going to help get baby into optimal birthing position. I know that night I'm really relaxed, and that's when I'm going to listen to the rainbow relaxation. So thinking about what time we're going to be doing this stuff, and set aside that same time every day, setting that ritual, creating that ritual. We are creatures of habit. So the more we can do it, I always say to anyone I'm working with, it takes 2 weeks to make or break a habit. So that means 2 weeks straight solid of you doing this. And then for the rest of the time, it's like, oh, it's time, I have to do this. And that's exactly what happened with me. I was about 30 weeks pregnant, and it just, for 2 weeks straight, I did it. And after that, it was just like, that was just a part of what I did. And it was really easy. And it wasn't this like frustrating thing. Oh, I have to make time. It's just what you do. It's a part of your routine. Choose a comfortable practice spot that has soft and light. Make that place, where you're gonna be practicing daily. So, maybe it might take you a day or 2 to figure out what your comfy, cozy spot is. Maybe you thought it was your living room. Maybe you thought it was your basement because your basement's nice and cozy, but maybe it's your bed. We don't know. So maybe it takes a couple days to figure out what that comfortable spot is, and then we can do, start the routine. So finding that comfortable spot, being warm. If I'm trying to relax and my feet are cold, there ain't no chance I'm relaxing. So, maybe not getting so comfy cozy until you make sure that you have some pair of socks on, or you have a blanket, or whatever it might be. Use soothing music. Like I had mentioned, sound therapy is really, really important. Some people, maybe Amanda was at a birth and this mom was listening to
like heavy metal.
Yeah, and that was calming to her.
She was like, I don't even hear it. I was like, only because it wouldn't have been my choice, but it wasn't my birth. So
it's right.
Like,
this isn't about us. We're helping you to figure out what it is that brings that calm and soothing to you. So yes, we make suggestions, but this is what works, for us. So don't worry if it doesn't work for you. There's no right or wrong. It's what's best for you. The rainbow relaxation and the affirmations that you hear from Marie Mongan, that music in the background is from Stephen Halpern's Comfort Zone. He has a lot of tracks, so that might work for you. So maybe checking out that stuff. I went on and, Apple, whatever, has a bunch of stuff. So different positions that you might want to maybe relax in. So I was on my side a lot. I had one of those pregnancy pillows and stuff. So, putting pillows between your knees, making sure that if your knee is kind of coming over your other leg, your hip kind of get out of sorts. So making sure you have that pillow so your hips are nice and aligned when you're laying on your side. It's kind of hard to lay on your back, but if you are kind of like inclined a little bit, maybe it would be okay. You know, I wish, like, some people have, I know, like Jacinda Hover, if you're going to go see her for chiropractic care, she has a really cool pillow with this whole cutout in the middle. So it would allow you to lay on your bellies. So I highly recommend getting one of those if you're a stomach sleeper, because that would also help you to be able to still lay and kind of be comfortable in that position. Maybe you're in a yoga pose. Maybe when you're relaxing, you want to be in like a child's pose or something like that on hands and knees. Maybe resting on a stack of pillows in child's pose. All these different ways you kind of have to play with to see what feels good. You know, maybe your knees aren't so great and you're not getting on your knees in any way, you know? So figuring out side laying. If you could do the stomach with the pillows, maybe you can kind of make a little rig, you know, being a little bit reclined. And yeah, let's see. One of the first things you do want to do when and we talked about this, you know, in the beginning, I always say the first thing that I always do when I'm about to do any kind of relaxation is I work on my facial relaxation. You know, we hold a lot of tension here in the jaw. After these classes, because I smile so much, my jaw actually hurts. So you want to make sure you're kind of concentrating all these little muscles around your eyes and starting with the facial muscles, relaxing those muscles. It's going to set the pace and the tone for the rest of the body. And you can do that body scan, that progressive body scan, maybe with the shoulders, with the neck, the shoulders, the arms, figuring out where your comfortable spot for your hands are. You know, your back, your side ribs, your legs, your feet, all those things. You really want to kind of do that. And every time you do that body scan, I promise you, you will find something that you can relax just a little bit more. It's a little wild when you actually bring that mindfulness to each of those parts of the body. So starting with that. And it's really quick. It's not like you have to sit there and do that for a long period of time. Maybe it's what you do at the start of all of your relaxations. Maybe before you listen to the rainbow, you kind of get your little nest, you got your drink next to you, you've gone to the bathroom, you have a snack, you have your socks on, you know, you're nice and cozy, you have all the pillows around you. Maybe the first thing that you do before you put on the rainbow is you do this kind of, you know, little body scan as you start to practice your calm breath. Maybe that's a part of your routine. You know, you just kind of go down the parts of the body as we tap into the breath. And then as we settle in, we're going to go to our natural breath. So, and we're going to probably drift off. It's okay. You're not doing it wrong if you fall asleep, I promise. So making sure that you don't judge yourself for that either. We get a lot of people who come back like, I'm doing it wrong. I keep falling asleep. Well, if that's what your body needs, then I'm really happy that you're falling asleep. And it's funny because a lot of times they say, like, well, I wake up at the end. That's it. That's it. You are in the zone. So just don't judge yourself. The only way to do it wrong is to not do it. Mm-hmm. So let's just practice. That's it. So some other relaxation techniques that we want to kind of go into tonight. They're going to be on pages 143 through, let's see, 149. So progressive relaxation. I use this by going down the stairs. So sometimes you might be doing a guided meditation, or if anyone else has done hypnotherapy before, a lot of times they use the stairs. In the book, they just talk about, you know, counting down. So just maybe starting with 10, 9, you know, and every time you count down to another number, maybe you're kind of just starting with one part of your body. So they give the picture here on page 144 of having your body. You see that, guys?
Different zones.
In different zones. So let's say if we start with 5, the 5 is kind of like the top part of our body, kind of like with our neck. 4 is kind of the shoulders down to like the mid waist. 3 is kind of like our, like right around our hips. 2 is the top of our legs. And 1 would be down the bottom of the legs into the feet. So this is something that, you know, hopefully you'll be able to practice this. We're gonna, you know, do some scripts, and we'll always be, you know, that's how we kind of start a lot of our scripts, is we do that progressive counting down. one of my favorite hypnobirthing tracks was, I think I gave you guys the link. It's Marie Sharp. It's Journeys Inward. And she always started her sessions, whether it be for insomnia or hypnobirthing, it was always the same progression. And it was always going guided down those stairs and then into a door, to this beautiful garden, right? So that is a really kind of cornerstone, I would say, with relaxation, with hypnotherapy in general. Getting to that calm space would be that counting down. Another one that we talk about in hypnobirthing, if you guys want to just maybe close your eyes for a minute, we're going to do the letter progression. Okay, disappearing letters, excuse me, not progression. So just get comfortable. Comfy, cozy. Maybe just start off doing that body scan with yourself. You know, start off with the face, relaxing the muscles, relaxing the neck, seeing if you're holding on tension in the shoulders, going down your arms, your fingers, your belly, your side ribs, your legs, all the way down to your feet. If there's anything you can release and let go of, doing so. Maybe we can do the number progression, starting with 5. Taking a really deep breath in. 4, releasing and letting go of any tension in the upper body. 3, another deep breath in. 2, exhaling any tension we have in our hips and our upper legs. 1, releasing all tension from our feet, lower limbs. And now just quickly visualize the letters rolling by or coming forward, and mentally say to yourself quickly while you exhale, A, B, 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 C, 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 D, 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 E, 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 F, F, F. And keep going and seeing if this disappearing letter visualization helps guide you deeper and deeper into a relaxed state. Seeing the letter come up big and then slowly get smaller and then disappear. Each letter coming up big, getting smaller and disappearing. And every time a letter comes up and gets smaller and disappears, you go deeper into relaxation. And when you are ready, coming back to the room, wiggling your fingers and your toes, taking a big inhale, feeling refreshed, relaxed. So this next one's for partners. So if your partner's not in the room, and he could be or she could be, cool. If not, we'll teach him next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely go over this technique again. So
this is a big one in hypnobirthing. You know, women in labor don't like too much touching. So tread lightly. But this one we all love. It's called light touch massage. And it's really great way to increase endorphins, increase oxytocin. So it's helping us to move through labor a little bit quicker. So really, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So this person, Konstantin Polinsky, from Michigan, they discovered that through pain management techniques, they were able to find that there's a huge amount of endorphins that are released through light touch massage. There's nerve endings that are underneath the surface of our skin called the erector pili, and they react when they're stimulated via this light touch massage. I know whenever I was a kid, I always loved, like, I don't know, I was always around my cousins, and we always did, you know, like the scratchies, right? Or, you know, that sort of thing. So, but the big concept here, as we learned in the previous class, was that, you know, the constrictor and pain that we feel is typically from the catecholamine hormone that's typically released when we go to that fight or flight. So this technique might really help us when we're in labor. It could be also really used now to kind of just send more endorphins. They do say to typically use the light touch massage during active labor to help stimulate, if you were to then go towards the breasts, to help stimulate more of that nipple stim and create oxytocin. Typically just doing light touch massage, we're really trying to hone in on the endorphins, because the endorphins and catecholamine can't coexist. So we really want to use this technique, and that's why it's so big with hypnobirthing, because we're really trying to channel out any type of discomfort. So the light touch massage will really help.
Do I demonstrate?
Yeah, so there's a couple of techniques and directions you can kind of go. I will say with partners, you know, guys, I mean, you guys really have to communicate.
And gals.
Yes, you really need to communicate what speed you want, what pressure you want, but it should, like it says, be a light touch massage. So you can kind of go in like an upward V shape from the lower part of the spine, and you're using the back of your fingertips to do this, and going up towards the neck and then out towards their arms and down their arms and draping down. You can kind of come back into that V position. You can also do a figure eight. I don't know how to kind of do in this position, but a figure eight type of motion, kind of crisscrossing. Okay. And again, if you can be over a birth ball, you can be over the edge of the bed. So kind of giving that exposure to your back for your partners. And again, like I said, you could, you know, when you're then in active labor, you can be adding that same stimulation with the light touch massage, going out to our breasts and our nipples.
We talk about it all in this class. Just wait till our next topic. You're gonna love it. So that's something that we also want you guys practicing on a regular basis. So get on it.
But it's really key too to communicate, guys. I mean, you really want to make sure that you know what speed you want them to go at, because I think carnal parts like to go really fast, and that's not the point. That's not really relaxing. So really communicate what you need and what feels good, and compliment them if they are doing it right, right? We want to make sure that we're being helpful, not...
I don't know, Kay. I don't think so. Nice. Cool. So doing that on a regular basis, you know, the more we practice that, right? Again, if we were going to wait until we were in labor and now our partner is like, oh, let me try that might not be accepted as much as if we were practicing that a lot prenatally, putting that in the part of our ritual, you know, maybe before bed, you know, it's nice, you know, and feels good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're even laying on your side, you've got that whole nest going, you got headphones in, and your partner knows that you're practicing your rainbow, and they could be behind you kind of doing that light touch massage while you're inside lying. So it doesn't have to be both hands, you know, you can play with it, have fun.
Cool. So one of the things that we want to talk about in this chapter, this section, is anchors. You know, a lot of times you could maybe even kind of set a reminder to be an anchor, maybe an alert on your phone, you know, like, hey, it's time to practice this, or maybe, hey, it's time to sit on your birth ball and do hip circles or something, you know, letting that be your anchor. You know, in one of our classes, BC, before COVID, we gave out little rose quartz. And I said, you know, and I asked everyone to write out their birth stories. And I had the rose quartz be that grounding anchor for them every time they would see or feel. It's nice and smooth, so it's a nice kind of way to kind of also do using your touch, senses to remind them of that visualization. So kind of little tricks and tools that you might use along the way to anchor yourself. And maybe that light touch massage can be another anchor. Like every time your partner does that light touch, it's a nice reminder of, okay, yes, I am relaxed. Cool. Alrighty. So time is it? How are we on time?
It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock. Okay. So very quickly, we kind of touched upon the calm breath. In the beginning, we practiced a little bit and how we're going to be adding that to our rituals, maybe a couple minutes before, we really go into that relaxed state, practicing that calm breath, that really deep inhale and that double exhale, inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 8, and having that be the part of the ritual where we're practicing. So that way it's like, I forgot to practice my calm breath today. It's just a part of your ritual that you're doing and you're practicing every single day. Hopefully you're having regular bowel movements and practicing the birth breath. You're able to really have that mindful moment when you're going to the bathroom. And maybe you set a reminder for you, because sometimes we just go to the bathroom and we don't, you've been going to the bathroom your whole life. It's not like all of a sudden like, oh wait, I have to go poop. Let me remember the birth breath. So just maybe even setting a reminder, like, okay, next time I go to the bathroom, like I need to, or maybe putting a sign up in your bathroom to anchor you, to say like, oh, mindful bathrooming. I don't know. What's a cool sign you can put up about these things? I have no idea. Birth breath, all right? Just put it on the sign in the bathroom. And really taking that really full inhale and letting that exhale guide your business out. And I'm telling you, the more you practice this, the more you will thank me. And it will be very easeful to have these moments in the bathroom. And being mindful of the muscles that we're using to do all of this. The natural expulsive reflexes have always been there for you. They're the same muscles you're going to use when you're giving birth. So tapping into that and being really mindful of it, it's only going to pay off in the end. So please, by all means, I hope you're having regular bowel movements, for the love of God. And if you're not, then you really got to talk to Caitlin. So making sure, every day we're practicing that. And that's, is there anything else to say about the birth? And this goes in, they go more in depth into the birth breath. It really kind of just goes into natural expulsive reflex and what I just talked about. But that's going to be in this, page 155 about the birth breath and using the breath to birth your baby. The surge breath, I always say, like, unless you're actually having a surge, like, why would you not have that lengthened exhale? Right? So just even inhale, even exhale. If you are someone like me, I had Braxton Hicks starting at like 20 weeks pregnant. So I always say, if you're having regular Braxton Hicks, that tightening of the uterus, why not practice the surge breath? That even inhale and even exhale. I always inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. It's still that deep abdominal breathing. But again, if you're having that deep, that muscle is having a surge, it's a little bit harder to have that, double exhale. So that's just where I would practice that. Anyone have Braxton Hicks? You guys have that? Anybody? No?
Maybe.
A little bit, Nina? Maybe? Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's like walking around with your muscle flexed. It shouldn't really hurt at this point or anything. It just kind of sometimes like takes you by a guard. You're like, oh, what's that? I remember I walked to work with my first pregnancy, and I remember the first time I got it, I'm like, it just kind of stopped me in my track. I'm like, what is that? I didn't ask my body to do that. So again, just something, might as well use it, and practice what we need to do anyway. They're called practice contractions. So let's practice that surge breath while we have those. Cool. All right. So we are going to do a couple things. First of all, before we talk about anything else, anyone have any questions about any of that? I know you guys love hearing our voices, but I love hearing your voices more. Raina has a question, Zach. You're pointing at her. Raina. Nah. Cool. Amanda, anything else?
No.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of stuff that's in this chapter is kind of self-explanatory. You know, like we think that these things should just come naturally with being pregnant, but sometimes they're not. And, you know, with crazy of a world usually is, I think a lot of us now are just kind of homebodies. We're at home and we're relaxing. We're getting more, you know, hopefully we're getting
sleep
more
again later.
Me time. Whatever that might look like for you. I'm sure you are finding more time to enjoy outside and connecting with the universe and your baby. So it is nice to hear those stories where sometimes we hear from moms that are just so crazy in their normal commute life, you know, the commute to work or, you know, their busy lifestyle through work, or they're separate, you know, they're building families, you know. So I know sometimes it's not always so easy to practice, but
no excuses now.
Yeah,
we're all quarantined.
But I think, I don't know, I feel like the responses that we got with how you guys have been bonding with your baby was actually really extraordinary, and I feel like
actually the best responses I think we've had so far.
So like I feel like in previous classes that we've had, some moms are just like, yeah, I'm having a girl.
I'm supposed to do that?
Yeah. You know, even a private I had not that long ago, but she was more, you know, more marketing. She works for Netflix, so I can imagine how busy she probably is working for Netflix. I'm sure if any of you, I'm sure all are binging some sort of TV show on Netflix.
Working months.
But you know, but she was just openly admitting that she hasn't really been connecting with the baby. So it was a big chapter, a big part of hypnobirthing is you just really having that bond and making sure that you're making that connection, because again, every emotion, everything that you guys eat, everything that you breathe, all of that is going to the baby. So I think you know, Jen and I love teaching this chapter, even though sometimes it's so corny. It's really important, and it's important for the aftermath. You know, what baby you're creating. You know, you're creating it now. So, you know, I don't know, that's my input.
So, should we end with the relaxation and do the, okay, so we're gonna, cause we always want to end, with a birth story. So we're gonna show the birth story, and then, we're gonna end tonight's class with us reading you the rainbow. So, while we show the video, get into your most comfortable spot, because we're gonna come out and we're gonna get you guys so comfortable and send out. It's gonna be awesome. Also, if you have music, if you have like a Bose radio or some kind of speaker, or even just your phone, ready accessible, it'd be really nice. Yeah, because
some other relaxing music.
Zoom and music, whatever. And I already have enough problems with my internet, so I'm not gonna even attempt. So maybe having that ready too, so you guys can get the most out of, you know, these, you know,
practice.
Okay. So cool. So little screen sharing time.